Hey everybody, today we're checking out the Zacian V League Battle Deck here on Pokemon Trading Card Game Online. This has got to be one of, if not most competitive pre-constructed decks that Pokemon's ever released. It has the ability to literally be redeemed and then just jump into online matches and you'll probably start getting some wins here and there. That's not to say that this deck can't be tweaked a bit to bring it up to date to include some newer cards, so I'll be showcasing that a few ways later in the video that this deck could be upgraded with a few more different cards. For now, let's go ahead and click claim now and we'll see what's in the deck. And this is what you get. You get the Zacian V deck box, which looks really nice. And then let's go ahead and start with the Pokemon. First, you got Mewtwo. He has an ability called Mind Report. When you play this card from your hand onto your bench, you can look for a supported card in your discard pile and add it to the top of your deck. This works great with this guy over here, Oranguru. Has an ability called Primate Wisdom. Once during your turn, you may switch a card from your hand with the top card of your deck. So use Mewtwo, get a supported card on top of your deck, and then use Oranguru. And then boom, you got the supporter you want out of your discard pile back into your hand. Next we have Jirachi. Has the ability called Stellar Wish. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, you may look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal a trainer card you find there, and put it into your hand. You take the rest of the cards, shuffle them back into your deck, and then this Pokemon's now asleep. Don't worry about getting this guy retreated out after using the ability because you have 4 switches in this deck, and then you have 3 scoop up nets too, so you can get him out of there pretty quickly. Next, we have Arceus, Dialga, and Palkia GX, also known as ADP in the community. Has an attack called Ultimate Ray for 150 damage for water, metal, and colorless energy. Search your deck for up to 3 basic energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like, then shuffle your deck. That's amazing, but even more amazing is this GX stat called Altered Creation. For 1 metal energy, for the rest of the game, your Pokemon attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Now the kicker here is, if you have a water energy attached to this guy while you're using Altered Creation, you can get 1 more prize card for each knockout you do than you regularly would. So that is absolutely stunning. That's why a lot of people want this card banned. Next you have Zigzagoon. Zigzagoon here is just to chip away some damage at your opponent. When you put this card down on your bench, you get to place 1 damage counter on any Pokemon on your opponent's side of the field. So this is great when you're out of range to KO a Pokemon by, let's say, 10 or 20 damage, because you could always throw down the Zigzagoon, use its ability to chip away 10 damage, then you could use Scoop Up Net again, pick him up, put him back down, and do another 10 damage. This works great when you have ADP out, for instance, let's say, and then you want to use its first attack for 150 damage to like a Dedenne GX or Crobat V. This will allow you to get within range of knocking it out in that 1 hit. So that's absolutely a good combo to do. Let's see. The only cards you could call filler, by the way, in this deck would be the Meowth and the Galarian Berserker. But even still, this is a great card, you know. Your metal Pokemon's attacks do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So, you're going to be using Zacian V as your main attacker. So, any way to beef him up is just great. And then speaking of him, we'll click on him back. He's your star player in this deck. You know, its ability allows you once during your turn to look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Any metal energy cards you find within the 3 cards you can attach to Zacian himself. Any card that is not a metal energy then goes into your hand. If you use this ability, though, your turn ends. So, I mean, that's the only kicker from that ability. Its attack, though, Brave Blade, it costs 2 metal energies and does 230 damage. But if you use this attack, you can't use it your next turn. But like I said, you can reset attack costs. So, you could, swap him out with Switch and then put him back in with another Switch. And then it resets Brave Blade's kicker where you can't use the attack and you can just use it again. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the trainer cards. Great Catcher is your first one. You can play this card only if you discard 2 other cards from your hand. You switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon GX or Pokemon EX with their active Pokemon. So that's a good way to get them out. Energy switch here is you just move a basic energy from one of your Pokemon to another one of your Pokemon. You got Tag Call. You search your deck for up to 2 tag team cards, reveal them, and put them in your hand, then shuffle your deck. Keep in mind that you do have some supporter cards that are tag teams, so not only can you get ADP, you can go ahead and get Guzma and Hala, and I think you have Lana and Mallow, right? Yep. You got them too. I'll explain them here in a second. Let's go back down to Switch. Switch is easy, you just switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Like I said, it's great if you want to reset Zacian's attack effect, where you can't use it the next turn, or if you got to get Jirachi out of there. Scoop 'em Net, you use that for Zigzagoons or basically anything that you feel like is going to get KO'd soon. Pick them up, put them back down. You do lose, all the attached cards are like energies or tools. Then you got Ordinary Rod here. You choose one or both of these effects. You shuffle up to 2 Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck, or you shuffle up to 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your deck. So it's great that you could just choose one, or you could just choose both. Next, you got Energy Spinner. Search your deck for a basic energy card, reveal it, and then put it into your hand. If you go second and it's your first turn, search for up to 3 basic energy cards instead of 1, then shuffle your deck. So that's pretty cool. Next, you got Metal Saucer. Attach a metal energy card from your discard pile to one of your bench metal Pokemon. Easy peasy. You're going to be using that basically for Zacian V. Quick Balls here. You can play this card only if you discard another card from your hand. Search your deck for a basic Pokemon, reveal it, and put it in your hand. This is just great because, I think every card in this deck, except for the Berserker here, is a basic. Yep, Mewtwo, Jirachi, Oranguru, ADP's even a basic. Zacian V's a basic, and then Meowth is a basic if you want to get him and then evolve in the Berserker, and then Zigzagoon. So, there you go. Quick Ball's great in this deck for that reason. You got Viridian Forest. Once during each player's turn, that player may discard a card from their hand. If they do, that player searches their deck for a basic energy card, reveals it, and then puts it into their hand. Then that player shuffles their deck. So, good little stadium card. Get some energies flowing. Next, you got Mallow and Lana, which is a tag team card. You switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. When you play this card, you may discard 2 other cards from your hand, and if you do that, you heal 120 damage from the Pokemon you move to your bench. So that's solid if you're you're close to getting KO'd and you want to sacrifice a couple cards out of your hand to do that. There you go. Guzman Hala. This is another tag team trainer card. Search your deck for a stadium card, reveal it, and then put it in your hand, then shuffle your deck. So basically you can only use this for Viridian Forest. When you play this card, you may discard 2 other cards from your hand, and if you do, you may also search for a Pokemon tool card and a special energy card in this way. So I think you only have 1 tool card in this deck, which is going to be the Big Charm here. We'll get to that. Boss's Order, one of the best supporter cards out there. It's basically like Lysander back in the day. You switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon. So, you can get out one of their Pokemon, maybe they're building up on the bench, and then KO it before it gets too crazy. And then you got 4 copies of Marnie in this deck. Each player shuffles their hand and puts it on the bottom of their deck. If either player puts any cards on the bottom of their deck in this way, you draw 5 cards and your opponent draws 4 cards. So it's a nice little, hand disruption card. Then Professor's Research, which is just like Professor Sycamore and Juniper in the past. You discard your hand and draw 7 cards. Just as easy as that. Big Charm here is our only tool. This Pokemon this card is attached to just gets a simply 30 plus HP. Then you got the 1 special energy card here, Aurora Energy. You may attach this card to one of your Pokemon, only if you discard another card from your hand though. As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides every type of energy, but provides only 1 energy at a time. And then you got your 8 metal and your 2 water, and that completes the deck. So like I said, don't forget Tag Call, as I was saying earlier. Not only works for ADP, but also those 2 supporter cards, Guzman, Hala, and Mallow and Lana. So, well-rounded deck. I think it's worth picking up because a lot of these cards are just staples in every other deck out there, such as Jirachi, Oranguru, Zigzagoon, Great Catcher, Tag Call, Switches, and Scoop Up Nets especially. Quick Balls are, Guzman, Hala to a point, Boss's Order definitely are, Marnie's definitely are, Professor Researchers are, and then, the energies. So, like I said, even if you don't want to play ADP, Z, like Zacian, this is still a great pre-constructed deck to pick up to get a lot of the staple cards for every other deck out there. With everything showcased here, let me jump into Deck Manager and show you a few ways you can change this deck to make it even better. Here we are in Deck Manager, where I'm going to show off a deck that recently won in an online tournament. The player that won the online tournament is called Birdboy Finch, I think is his username. They include some Vivid Voltage cards already in this deck, as you can tell by Coding Metal Energy. I'll go ahead and expand that for you guys. Coding Metal Energy is pretty good because the card acts as a basic metal energy and has a secondary effect which allows the metal Pokemon this energy is attached to have no weakness, which is great because there's some current fire decks floating around out there like Charizard V or Scorch V Max. So this helps eliminate those decks dealing some serious damage to you if you're playing Zacian V decks out there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first Pokemon in the lineup here, which is Lucario Melmetal. They have a pretty good first attack called Steel Fist for 2 colorless energy and does 50 damage. But the attack effect, where afterwards you search your deck for a metal energy and attach it to itself, is pretty good because it helps speed up for you to be able to use heavy impact next turn. And its GX attack is also pretty solid, which is called Full Metal Wall. It's great because for only 1 energy, the rest of the game, your metal Pokemon will only take 30 less damage from your opponent's attacks. And if you have 1 more energy attached to it while you use the GX move, you can discard all energy from your opponent's active Pokemon as well, which really slows them down. So I definitely like, that comboed with Metal Goggles here in the deck. So whatever Pokemon Metal Goggles attached to is taking like 60 less damage, because every Pokemon in your deck here is going to be Steel type, I believe. You got Zamazenta V, which I'll explain. This is if like you're going against a VMAX deck that your opponent's playing. This pretty much stops all attacks from your Pokemon that might get attacked from VMAX Pokemon. So, it's kind of eliminates that whole threat altogether. It's pretty good. And its attack Assault Tackle here for 130 damage for 2 Steel, 1 Colorless. Also has the effect where you discard a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Its resistance there is Grass type, which is -30. And then its weakness, of course, is Fire. So, you gotta look out for fire decks, like I said. But, if your opponent's running like Scorch VMAX, then, you don't have to worry about that because his ability stops it. The only new additions to this deck that you swap out really for cards within the Zacian V League deck would be 4 Crushing Hammers. You flip a coin. If heads, you discard energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon. You kind of try to slow them down. You got Lily's Pokédoll, which is pretty much like if you played way in the past, you remember Robo Substitute. This is kind of an improvement on it. You play this card as if it was a 30 HP colorless basic Pokemon. At any time during your turn, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, you may discard all cards from it and put it on the bottom of your deck, which is nice because in the past Robo Substitute, you pretty much had to discard it to get it off of the active field to put something else in there. So if this is still alive on your turn, you can just put it on the bottom of your deck and then swap out for something more important. This card can't retreat though, so if this card is knocked out, your opponent can't take any prize cards for it. So that's good. It's just like a buffer, so you're building something else up on the bench in the meantime. We know what Metal Saucer does already. We know what Quick Ball does. 4 switches, 1 tag call. Tool Scrapper is new in this deck. You choose up to 2 Pokemon tools attached to Pokemon, you or your opponents, and then discard them. Chaotic Swell. This pretty much slows down your opponent from playing Stadium cards. You play this, and then next turn, if your opponent tries to play a Stadium card, they have to get rid of this, but they also have to get rid of their Stadium. So, they can't try to get too much of an advantage on you playing one of their Stadium cards. Then Boss's Order, we know what we do. Cynthia and Kaylin, we know what we do with that. And Mal and Lana, we know what we do with that. So, those 3 were in the Zacian V League box. Marnie's as well, we know. Professor's Research, we know what it does. Simply discard your hand, draw 7 cards. Metal Goggles, like I was saying earlier, is great. Because you combo this kind of with, any Steel Pokemon you're using. Or Metal Pokemon. And then with this, the -30 from that GX. And then a -30 from Metal Goggles, your opponent's already having to take 60 damage off of their attack, so it's going to be hard for them to kill off anything on your side of the field. And then Coding Energy, we already explained, and then you got 10 basic steals. So this deck I would probably work on first because it's doing pretty good right now in the current meta here in late November of 2020. Of course, that might change, if you watch this video later on. But go ahead and exit out of that. And these are the only cards that you're going to pick up outside the Zacian V League box deck code that you'll redeem. So not too many, 26 cards in the deck you have to pick up. You'll have to pick up 2 Lucario Melmetal, 2 more Zacian Vs, 2 of the Zamazenta Vs, 4 of the Crushing Hammers, 2 of the Lily's Pokédoll, 1 Tool Scrapper, 1 Chaotic Swell Stadium card, 1 more Boss's Order, 1 more Cynthia and Caitlin, 1 more Mallow and Lana. You're going to have to pick up 4 Metal Goggles, 3 of the new Cody Metal Energies, and then 2 more Metal Energies, like the basics. So it's not too bad. And don't worry about the rarities of these. I have some crazy rarities going on. I got the Secret Rare Zacian or Secret Rare Crushing Hammer. Those are crazy, by the way. Those are dozens of packs, just the Secret Rares for that one. But the basics of these, the most common rarities, just for the trainers, don't even worry about the Pokemon right now. Just the trainers, you can probably pick up all of these in their basic form for 5 packs or less. I would use PTCGOprices.com. to check out, the prices currently of Zamazenta V and Zacian V and also Lucario Melmetal. Zacian's probably going to go down a little bit because of the League box being out. So, there's going to be more supply out there to meet the demand. Lucario Melmetal, last I checked, was around 5 packs or so. Zamazenta V, this rarity here was only 1 pack, I believe, of Vivid Voltage just a day or so ago. So, like I said, even to pick these cards up, it's not going to be too expensive. So go ahead and try to build this deck and then get out there and get some wins. Thanks for watching.